Hello again. I've said before that we do seem to have become accustomed over the years to seeing news items which once would have seemed like April Fool's Day gags. The headline this morning in the newspaper assures us that booster jabs for COVID are to become a regular feature for years to come, with a fourth and fifth booster already planned, as well as talk of vaccinating 5-year-olds. Doctors say that if they do this, that is to say, take on all this arduous extra work vaccinating people and so on, then they will be forced to ditch routine health checks for things, well, I suppose trifling matters like high blood pressure, heart disease, asthma, cancer and so on. I imagine that this is code for expect a massive increase in deaths from undetected health problems relating to the heart and lungs in the coming year or two. What else have we got here? Aha, yes. BT are setting a target of ensuring that a quarter of their workforce are non-white. Quotas of this kind are scandalous, just as they would be if they were to involve limiting the number of Jews or black people in an organisation. We should be employing people on merit, not skin colour. An inevitable byproduct of this policy will be what are known in the United States as diversity hires, which will mean black people taken on simply to fill a quota rather than because they're the most suitable or well qualified applicants for the job. Other British companies, most notably Lloyds Bank, are pursuing similar mad policies. What else have we got here? I hope that viewers aren't, oh yes, terribly impatient. Here's a good one. A pub in Scotland is to be renamed over racism fears. Well, racism is a very serious matter, of course, and anything at all that can be done to discourage it or prevent it is to be welcomed, at least by me. The racism in this case centres around a greyhound, which is part of the coat of arms of the town Linlithgow. I hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I dare say that Scottish viewers will soon pull me up if I'm not. I expect viewers will be curious to know how a greyhound can be racist. The female dog is known by tradition in the town as the Black Bitch, and it is this which is the name of the pub. In other words, there's a pub that has been called the Black Bitch for, since the 17th century. The owners, Green King, say that they have a commitment to being an anti-racist organisation, and they want their pub names to be welcoming and inclusive. I suppose this will be good news for albino greyhounds who might have been deterred from visiting the pub in the past due to its emphasis on black dogs rather than white. What idiocy. Now, there's something interesting on page 5. The paper is full of interesting news today. Here we are. On page 5 we see that a government minister is worried about people spreading germs by kissing under the mistletoe. Meanwhile, the health minister suggests that we might all want to take a lateral flow test if we're going to a party. Back to Scotland again, where Nicola Sturgeon is saying that families should enforce vaccine passports when arranging a Christmas dinner. it seems that, where are we now? If you're going to meet people outside your household, test. We should all have a version of COVID certification without the law telling us to COVID certify. People hosting Christmas dinner should order everyone attending to take a lateral flow device test beforehand. Well, yes, sensible advice, I've no doubt at all. As regular viewers will know, I'm the last person to say anything on the subject of COVID which does not endorse government guidelines. Although I'm not at all sure whether the advice about not kissing under the mistletoe is actually a government guideline or whether it's what's known as obiter dictum by some minister or other. The Science Museum in South Kensington. Here we are, hope viewers can see this. The Science Museum in London is in hot water over a display aimed at children which explains the differences between boys and girls. The fools! Don't they know that this concept is hopelessly outdated? Some cranks are after them now, complaining that this kind of binary thinking is unacceptable. Instead of telling them to get lost, as I would have done, the Science Museum has agreed to change the display. This is an odd thing, though, for a science museum to do, because with extremely rare exceptions, that is to say the occasional hermaphrodite birth, we are all of us born either boys or girls. I'm sorry if this basic scientific fact is offensive to some, but in a science museum I rather expect to see science rather than fashionable neo-Marxist agitprop. However, there we are. Oh yes. Viewers in the north of England, I don't know if we can see here, hospital healthcare worker charged with sexual assaults. Viewers in the north of England might wish to give the Blackpool Victoria Hospital a wide berth for a while. Lancashire police have been investigating the place for 3 years over the suspected murder of a patient there, following suggestions that patients in the stroke unit had been poisoned and mistreated. Then they uncovered allegations of rape and sexual assault, and earlier this year arrested a worker there for murder and rape. Now, a member of staff called Hernando Puno has been charged with 9 counts of sexual assault. Yeah, so if you're ill in Blackpool, do try and choose your hospital well. This is good. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution are not to be prosecuted for people smuggling. Perhaps viewers can see this. The Immigration Minister has finally noticed that the RNLI is routinely breaking the law by assisting illegal immigrants to enter this country, and has assured us that a new law will protect them from prosecution. You would, by the way, hardly have noticed it when you see the border force and lifeboats landing hundreds of illegal immigrants each day in Kent, but it is actually a criminal offence to enter Britain in this way. Under the 1971 Immigration Act, it's an offence to enter the country without leave. That is to say, passing through customs and passport control the way the rest of us do when we travel. Aiding people to commit this offence is also against the law. Think people smugglers. So at the moment, those lifeboats that are bringing illegal immigrants into the country, every member of the crew is committing an offence currently. As I said, any one of these news items would have been beyond belief just 10 or 20 years ago. But we have been conditioned to accept the unthinkable. And now all this just seems like business as usual in modern Britain.